What up, world? Your boy Charles Brown back again for another Talking Facts. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe, hit the notification bell. All right, man, your boy Dave Chappelle was attacked, y'all. Dead serious. Dave Chappelle was attacked on stage. Dave Chappelle, who is 48, was attacked on stage by 23-year-old Isaiah Lee. And Lee was arrested by LAPD and was said to be carrying a replica handgun that is it's a replica handgun. It doesn't shoot bullets, but it does shoot a knife blade if used properly. So it's a lot to unpack here. Chris Rock was there, Jamie Foxx was there. This was for Netflix, special Netflix at Netflix as a joke. It was at the Hollywood Bowl, I believe. And let's talk about it. It's a lot to unpack here. First of all, I want to say, what's up with security? I don't know how this guy gets to run up on stage. And I get it. People run up on stage at concerts all the time. But he ran up and tackled Dave, full on tackled him. Now, my first thought was Dave should be able to handle himself. Dave is kind of big at this point. Dave should be able to hit you with the 1-2. And you know what I'm saying? But when somebody running up and you in the middle of a set, you're not thinking about fighting nobody, right? He runs up. He probably didn't even see the guy to the last minute. Full on tackle. And Dave made a joke that it was a transgender man, right? Which I was like, oh, Dave pushing the button. He could get in trouble again with this. But at the end of the day, I'm like, who cares your feelings at this point? This is a guy who ran up on stage with a legit weapon. He caught a felony for this. He's getting charged with assault with a deadly weapon, right? So at this point, if you're online going on Dave's verbiage and you're still finding reasons to be mad at Dave after someone tried to literally kill this man, I really don't have much to say to you, right? I really can't coddle you anymore at this point. If you're looking at this and trying to figure out a reason where this kid is right and Dave is wrong, at some point you're the problem, right? I'm just keeping it a buck. Like, I don't understand why we're at this point now where anything goes, right? Will Smith, I'm going to blame Will for this because I think he may have put a battery in the back of this kid. Some people, and I said this before, some people get motivated by other people's actions, right? You can motivate a person positively or negatively, right? You can motivate a person to actually go out and get a real job and get a real car and get a house just by your actions of how you carry yourself. Right? Will Smith probably motivated millions of people to be better human beings, to want to be like him, to want to work out when he works out, to want to actually audition for things and go out and get better living conditions for themselves just by seeing Will do it, right? With that being said, Will can also make you want to do wrong. If you idolize him and you look up to him in a certain kind of way, you're going to be like, wow, if that's the way Will Smith will handle it, maybe I'm not doing my life right. Maybe I should be handling it the same way. And maybe if I'm mad at a comedian, maybe I can run up there and handle the same way Will Smith did it. Look how Will Smith, you know what I mean? People probably saying, look how Will Smith did it. Look how Will Smith handled it. Right? And maybe even worse, the consequences that he did not face makes it even more valuable to people as an option to go up to on the stage and slap a comedian. Right? You didn't like the joke. You think he's harmful to society. Well, let me go up there and take him out, right? And this guy wasn't trying to slap him. He was trying to do a lot more. Now, luckily, right, because if this guy was actually better at what he was doing, Dave could literally be out of here, right? I'm just keeping it a buck. If the guy goes straight to you with the knife in his hand, right, or whatever the weapon in his hand, and goes at you with that, it's different than tackling you. Tackling you gives you a chance. Tackling gives you, maybe in his mind, Dave was too big. So he was like, if I tackle him, knock him to the ground, he'll be stunned, and then I can pull the gun out and do whatever I'm going to do, right? End of the day, this kid just ruined his life. Because when he get in that jail, they're going to beat him senseless. They're going to beat him bad. It's going to be, they already got his arm flipped. They showed the picture of his arm is out of the socket. It's turned all the way around. His arm facing the same way his face is facing. Arms don't supposed to go like that. Your elbow ain't supposed to be the same direction as your nose. Right? Not on accident, right? You can probably try to do it on purpose, but it still can't. You can't get your arm all the way straight like that. This dude's arm was all the way facing the forward position. So he caught a mean, swift beating, which you deserve. Because this is my thing, man. If you don't like the jokes, then leave. You shouldn't have been there in the first place. You only came there with the gun to try to do some harm over some perceived slights in the past. Right? You don't have to listen to Dave Chappelle. You don't got to buy a ticket or get on the guest list or whatever you did to get into this venue. You wanted to make a political statement where you made it, and statements come with consequences, especially when you try to hurt somebody. You could have pulled out a sign. You could have yelled out something. You could have did something, but you tried to hurt this man with a weapon. So this is a whole different charge, buddy. It's a whole different charge. I don't know if they're going to take it light on you, buddy. I really don't know. I don't know what they're going to take in consideration. Maybe he is a transgender man with a lot of hurt feelings, and who knows? But that's not a reason to be able to get away with a crime like this. Just because you happen to be a transgender. And I know Dave said he was a transgender, and Dave he was more in the situation than any of us. So maybe it was a transgender man. Maybe he was saying something that was an actual fact, but making it sound funny like he does, right? Pure professional, right? But what nobody's talking about, everyone has jokes and this and that and whatever. No one's really talking about this man could have killed him, right? He could have literally killed him. Let's say he killed Dave Chappelle, right? What did Dave die for? What would we have said Dave died for on that stage at 48? Took him away from his kids and his wife. He took him from the world over what? What was so egregious to you, right? Some jokes. This is what I'm talking about. I've never, and I'm trying to remember a point in my life where I saw someone try to kill a comedian. And this is the point where we're getting with the transgender conversation is you guys are making it hard for yourselves, even when no one is against you, right? I'm not against anybody. I'm not against anybody's sexual orientation or their gender, or they want to take pills to achieve a certain level of body physique that would make them feel that they've corrected some natural process that they weren't given. If they feel like a man, they want to be a woman, or they feel like a woman, they want to be whatever the case may be, right? It has nothing to do with me. It means nothing to me. I've been educated on the situation. I don't have any problems with what you're doing with yourself, right? But when someone is including you in a conversation, right, i.e. joking, right? You ever been in a room full of people and someone starts to talk to you, but they're kind of like nudging you a little bit to get involved, and they may like say a little joke about you just to get you in the conversation because you're being mad standoffish or you're over here doing your own thing? Sometimes the joke is showing you is a handshake, right? Sometimes the joke is showing you we're all cool here, buddy. You don't have to be afraid. No one's singling you out to harm you. As a matter of fact, I'm going to show you that I kind of got a little fondness for you. You only joke with people that you like, right? I'm going to be honest with you. You try to hurt people you don't like, but you joke with the people you do, right? It's just a fact, right? So I'm confused. As even if, let's just say, let's play along, even if the joke was misconstrued, let's say he said something that he was ignorant about, right? Even if some of the jokes were ignorant to your cause, he gotta die, right? I've seen a lot of the jokes be built up into this massive 4-5 paragraph, these massive theses, these eccentric like pieces of work into how damning the jokes that he told were to their cause. For all that, you could have wrote 2 jokes back to him. It would have made 1 million more fans of your cause to see that you could take the joke and dish it out. But what people do not gravitate to is the class whiner, right? People do not gravitate to the guy that's always emotional, the guy that's always hurt by everything. You can't play with him. You can't say nothing to him. It's becoming a thing where we're looking at, from the outside looking in, it looks like this particular group cannot be said anything about at all, right? Don't compare it to black people. It's not the same, right? It's not the same. It ain't the same, right? So if y'all want to have a conversation, we can have it, but I don't think he killed anyone. I don't think he ran and tackled anyone and tried to hurt anyone. And if the jokes were offensive is not a death sentence, right? I've been in stores where the person offended me. I didn't go back and kill him, right? I've been in social situations where people have said stuff that was offensive. I didn't kill him. I didn't tackle him. I didn't punch him. So, in polite society, at best, what you're doing is reacting to what you've been dished out, right? But this is the worst case scenario when someone, and again, I don't know, right? Let me say this for record. I don't know what the man's orientation or what his pronouns was when he ran up on that stage. But we're just going to take a leap, right? We're just going to take a leap. If somebody get on a plane and yell, I'll walk by, right? And pull a switchblade out, we're just going to assume what's going on, right? And you stop me when I'm wrong. You stop me when I'm tripping. So who has the most beef with Dave Chappelle? So we're just going to assume it was a transgender man, right? Which he would have made more noise by just being loud and obnoxious. Now, he has set that cause back mad years, because anyone that was on the bubble is going to say, look how they act now. This guy told a joke, and especially in the height of this Chris Rock thing. Now you're going to react to a joke with a gun that has a knife in it, tackling a man in the middle of a show. In this climate, where everyone has already ascertained that smacking Chris Rock was wrong. Chris Rock made a joke about the attack. He said, was that Will Smith? Which was funny. He lightened the mood, and it was funny. It was well timed. It was everybody was thinking that. But Chris Rock said it. It was funny, right? Jamie Foxx came out, apparently busting around. Everybody ran out to assist with the situation. And this guy was beaten, I want to say, probably the worst beating he's ever had in his life. Until he gets to that jail and them Dave Chappelle fans get on him. But this was bad. But at the end of the day, he didn't do anything for his own cause. If I'm going to assume that Dave Chappelle called him a transgender, I'm going to assume that he was. Or gay or something, right? I'm gonna keep it 100. I'm gonna keep it 100 with anybody in the LGBTQ community right now. When it comes to Dave Chappelle, right? The only way you are gonna get us to respect you the way you are looking for, right? We've heard the sensitive side. We've heard all of the arguments, all of the conversation about why it's dangerous for your community to have any jokes about. We understand that you're being attacked, you're being berated, you're struggling to fit in, you're struggling. There are mad kids committing suicide because of this. Not because of Dave Chappelle, but because of the way society treats gays, lesbians, transgenders, queers, and things like that. The reason that it's going to be even harder for you is because people will feel like you can't assimilate to the society. This society has a comedic love affair. We love comedians. It just is what it is. We love comedians, and we're going to take that to the day we die. If you force us to choose sides, 9 times out of 10, we're going to choose the comedian that we love, no matter what the situation. You see what happened with Joe Rogan, right? Now, and then granted, he's not a comedian. Well, he is a comedian, but that's not what people love. People love him for his show. Good, bad, or indifferent. This guy got millions more people subscribe to him after the controversy because you made people choose, right? I, as a black man, I didn't get up in arms with Joe Rogan over his comments or what have you. Because if I let everybody that says the N-word rile me up, I'll just be riled up all day. I'll be riled. I'll walk around with my fist balled up all day. I'm not doing that. I'm not giving nobody that kind of power. We ain't come this far to get rattled by somebody saying the N-word. I just don't know what to tell you. I'm so far removed from that. Yeah, it's wrong, and somebody needs to do something when it's appropriate, when it's warranted. Right? But it's levels to everything. And I went a long way around to say, y'all gotta learn to take a joke. It's the bottom line. I know that's harsh to hear. Y'all have to learn to take a joke, bro. I don't know what else to tell you. You got to learn to dish these jokes out, right? Remember when hip hop, I'm not going to say remember because it still does, but rapping in and of itself was very misogynistic and very anti-gay. Yep, remember them days? Now, we have openly gay rappers right now. Openly gay rappers. They're out there. Have fan bases, have shows with other. They're not excluded to only gay shows. They perform with straight rap everybody, right? But you know why? Because they stopped stomping their feet from the outside, trying to make everybody conform to what they say, and that what they were saying was, don't joke about us, don't say this, don't say that, which is fine, and it stopped a lot of negative conversations. People got it. They got, okay, they're human. You don't got to be so negative with them, right? But at the end of the day, they can take a joke now, right? They can take the joke and they'll dish it back to you 2-3 times worse. So you got to contend with it. You got a problem, right? Because they're not laying down letting you say whatever. They're going to come and confront you and handle their business. But this thing is so volatile, and this I don't know. It's not the early stages, but it's going on. It's getting to a point where it's too long, where we're still dealing with people wanting to shut down Dave for jokes that he's made. When at the end of the day, if you know anything about Dave, he jokes about everyone and everything. But somehow you've positioned yourself to be the only thing he can't joke about. And you've positioned yourself so angrily and so against Dave that now he has to be attacked on stage with a knife wielding lunatic, for lack of a better word. Now, had Dave been somewhere alone and there'd been 10 of them, it would have been a real bad situation for Dave. But end of the day, my advice to this guy who did this act and the people who will follow him and try to do more stuff like this, or the people who think it was okay, it was a retaliatory effect. You need to learn how to take these jokes, bro. You need to assimilate into this. People only react this way because you allow them to react this way. When I'm talking about, and I'm not talking about the transgender, I'm talking about the people who get so worked up when you get so worked up, right? What they used to tell me in school, if you let them pick on you and he can see that it annoys you, he's going to do it even more. Right? Fight back. But fight back means different things. It doesn't mean getting on stage and attacking a man. Use your words. He used his. That's all I got to say. I'm not going to do a lot more talking about this because the simple fact, they've lived, they laughed and they joked about it. But end of the day, this man almost killed Dave Chappelle. And that's all we need to be focusing on. Let's be honest. He almost killed this man over some jokes. Right? We gotta figure out how serious our jokes. Even his worst joke, right? If you're gonna go through the stand-up of the closer or whatever he said before that and take the worst of the worst joke, right, that he said that was so offensive. Let me know what's on that paper in that joke that he needs to die for. My name is Chuck Wick Ills, a.k.a. Charles Brown, CLBMG Networks. Every Wednesday night at 8 p.m., we got Clash, the rap podcast. Me, Dante, and Fliz, we talk about everything under the sun that's involved with hip-hop. All right? CLBMG.com. Also, check the playlist. Me and Four Eyes, a.k.a. The Ugly Professor, we got an album called Force Multipliers. It's nothing but real hardcore hip-hop, not rap, it's hip-hop. All right? EssentialVarieties.org, black-owned, beautiful site for people that want to get their soaps and all other get-right kind of stuff. Check it out, EssentialVarieties.org. Check that out. I'm going to catch y'all on that flip side. Peace.
CLB.